So, I'm meant to be meditating. My mind is racing. Does that ever happen to you? I'm meditating, kind of. Doing my square breathing. Breathe in for 5. Hold for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out for 5. Hold for 5. Sometimes it works. But here's the thing. Do you ever get that thing where you're trying to think of nothing? And you know it should be simple. You're just concentrating on your breathing, trying to be all zen and everything. And the next thing you realize that your thoughts are racing. And I mean racing. Like, I'm thinking about that person I passed in the restaurant earlier eating sushi. Do I prefer cheeseburgers or pizza? And that cute cat name someone sent me. And the one in the dog with the cone of shame. And then that takes me to New York because suddenly I'm remembering that film, The Secret Life of Pets. Do you know the one? And would I sooner be Iron Man or Spider-Man? Like, which one of them has better powers? And I'm thinking about all this. Does that ever happen to you? Thoughts lead to other thoughts, that lead to other thoughts, that loop and loop and loop, until, even though you're meant to be thinking about nothing, all I can think about is that my thoughts are the opposite of nothing. They're infinite. I have no idea how much time has passed, but I'm still nervous. And I've forgotten all about my square breathing now. Why am I nervous? I'm nervous because I'm not in New York. I'm right here in Ireland in front of all of you, and I'm meant to be doing this play, and instead I'm sitting here talking about racing thoughts. This is going to call for some extreme concentration. What do you do when you need to concentrate? Relax? Yeah? Sit up properly? Yeah? So, when I really, really need to concentrate, this is what I do. See? When I'm here and everything is upside down, it's like all of the thoughts just come spilling out of my head in a great big river of words and memories and sounds and colours. You might be able to see it, but it's flooding out there across the floor right now. So, over there is John F. Kennedy's inauguration speech that I was watching on YouTube the other night. And next to it is me thinking about how it's such a shame what happened to him. That he was just alive 1 minute and the next second he was gone. And would America be different if he hadn't been taken out by that crazy guy with the gun? And what about Martin Luther King? Would the world be different? So, those thoughts have just spilled right out of my head. And another thought that I was worried about earlier, about all the things I promised Mr. Norton's class at St. Philip's that I'd put into the play. Things like John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King and pizza and cheeseburgers and a cat and a dog. Like, how am I going to fit them all in? Then here, standing on my head, I just let it all go. And now I can concentrate on the story. The story's about a boy called Trevor. And there are a few things you might want to know. It's his birthday today. He's just turned 12, which is a pretty big deal last year before he's a teenager. And today he's going to get a very special present. But he doesn't know that yet. He likes football, but he likes other things too. And he's been wanting this particular coat for ages. And this is something that he wouldn't admit to anyone, barely even to himself. But sometimes Trevor gets scared. So I'm going to start with something that happens pretty close to the end of the story, and then I'll go back and fill in the blanks. Okay? So I'll start with this. Trevor, where's your new coat? Mom's going to kill you. That's Shell, Trevor's big sister, shouting out her bedroom window. She's in trouble for staying out until 3 in the morning, and she's trying to put the attention on someone else. But she has a point. The sun is setting. Trevor's down in the garden about to go into the house. And all the neighbours are looking out because Shell is shouting. And Trevor's carrying his new football that he got for his birthday. And he's wearing his new football boots that he saved up for. But the coat,
coat he promised never to lose. The coat is nowhere to be seen. And you know what's even worse? His glasses were in the pocket.
Trevor! Sometimes it's like Shell can read his mind. Where are your glasses? You're in big trouble now. You've heard of that thing, fight, flight, freeze. The way when your body senses danger, it has one of three reactions, either fight or flight or freeze.
The start of the story of what happens to Trevor on his 12th birthday starts with Trevor in his garden at sunset, realising he's lost his new coat, that he's wanted for a whole year, and that he didn't even manage to hang on to for one day. The sun is setting, and his sister is shouting, and the neighbours are looking, and even that cat with the wonky ear is looking. And Trevor knows it's only a matter of time before his mum will find out. He's kind of fighting and flighting and freezing all at the same time. But you know, actually, when I think about it, let's go back and start much earlier than that. That part happens too close to the end. Fight, flight, freeze. Let's go with freeze for now. Let's freeze Trevor right now. And let's go back in time. Let's start from where Trevor wakes up on the morning of his 12th birthday. We can do it in snapshots, how you'd edit a video or a film or something. We'll do it in 12, like candles on a birthday cake. What? The special present. Do you ever wake up with that sore mouth feeling? Do you know the one where you eat too many fizzy sweets and it kind of cuts the inside of your mouth? Yeah. So, on the night before Trevor's 12th birthday, Trevor ate 2 whole packets of Tang Fast Sticks, half a lemon, and a tub of toxic waste. What was he thinking? You see, it was competition. And Trevor, even if he's scared, Trevor never says no to a competition. He won it too. Ozzy surrendered after 5 toxic wastes, and I didn't even make it that far. So he wakes up, and his mouth is in bits. And he rolls over in bed because he knows he left his water bottle somewhere nearby. And with his eyes closed, he waves his hand around and then he ends up whacking the water bottle, which rolls across the room. He has to open his eyes now. So he does. And that's when he sees something weird. Something that definitely wasn't there last night. There's a piece of silver paper. And written on the paper are some words. Instructions. And then 2 words he's never seen before. It's like something out of Alice in Wonderland. Say the magic words. Quandale Dingles. Hey guys. That's the first present Trevor gets for his birthday. But he doesn't know how to use it yet. 2. God of War. This is the bit where he gets the coat. What's your house like first thing in the morning? It's hectic, yeah, on a school day? Yeah. So Trevor has 5 brothers and 1 sister, so you can imagine what it's like in his house. His dad says it's like Central Station. Trevor thinks it's like a computer game because you can never tell what mood anyone is going to be in, so you don't know who's a friend and who's an enemy. And so Trevor ducks and dodges his way through it all, like he's Theseus, or one of those great warriors in God of War, dodging the wrath of the gods, skipping down the stairs past Zeus who's looking for a clean hoodie, to where an angry Hercules is sitting at the kitchen table finishing his homework and eating Cheerios, listening to Gaia, that's Shell, screaming from upstairs that if Poseidon doesn't get out of the bathroom, she's going to reef him out of it. When you think about it that way, like they're gods and not just a regular family, it's actually pretty funny. And so Trevor is laughing as he grabs his lunchbox and puts it in his school bag. And then suddenly there's his mom and dad standing there smiling at him in a way that would make him cringe if there was anyone here to see it. It was actually kind of warm and fuzzy too. And his dad hands him something round, all wrapped in paper. We know what that is, right? Then his mom gives him another parcel. And inside it is the coat. The coat. And she says, happy birthday, love. If you lose that coat, I swear to God. But Trevor doesn't even let her finish the sentence. Ma, I'll never, ever, ever lose this coat. I'm not even going to take it off. Which brings us to small break. Now, by this time, Trevor's forgotten all about those words on the piece of paper next to his bed, because it's small break. For small break today, he got one of those little bags of pretzels and a waffle. It's like they knew it was his birthday. And now it's yard time, and guess what? Trevor's taking off his new coat and he's pegged onto the grass, and they're playing chasing, and then the bell rings and it's time to go back to class. So, is that when Trevor loses his coat? No. Because just when they've all lined up and the line starts to move, Trevor spots his new coat in the grass and he runs over to get it. Which means definitely had the new coat when they all filed back inside. School assembly. The whole school fills the sports hall. The student council has been preparing for this assembly for weeks. Trevor is standing on the podium with the rest of the student council. He realizes everyone is waiting for him. But his mind has gone blank. And Ozzy gives him a dig in the ribs, but he still can't remember what he's meant to be saying. And then all of a sudden, 2 words float into his mind. Quandale Dingle. He says them over and over in his head, and somehow it's like the clouds part. Trevor steps up to the microphone and he gives a speech about climate change and taking care of each other and the planet. And at the end, when they've all done their bits, they make the announcement that there's going to be no homework for 2 nights. And the cheer that goes up is so loud that for a second, the roof lifts right off the sports hall and the sunlight pours in. Trevor and the student council are like heroes as they make their way back to class. And because the assembly is taken up all the time between breaks, it's already time for 5 hot lunch. It's Trevor's and Megan's turn to get the hot lunches. But there's been a mix-up. And instead of chicken nuggets, Trevor's ended up with some sort of broccoli pasta. They mustn't have known it's his birthday after all. This is why he always brings backup. So, he takes his lunchbox from home out of his bag and he opens it. And staring out of it, on the same silver paper, are the same 2 words. Quandale Dingle. Trevor puts the lid back on his lunchbox. He must be imagining things. But when he takes the lid off again, the words are still there. A spell out of Harry Potter. He stuffs the paper into his bag and he eats his lunch. But the words are still there in his mind. And a little while later, he decides to try them out. 6. The match. There's a league match after school and Trevor's been picked for the team. He's moved up to the Mount View under 13s and they're playing against Draíocht. Looking at some of the lads on the other team, Trevor wonders if they sent the under 16s by mistake. The first half is a disaster. It's like Liam, the goalie, is asleep on the job. He lets in 3 goals and then they get a player sent off for cursing at the ref, which is unfair because the ref is making really unfair decisions. Trevor is playing midfield and no matter what he tries to do, there is always someone there blocking him. He's forgotten all about his birthday by the time they crawl off to the changing rooms for half time. When they come back on, coaches change their positions and Trevor is striking them. But they're 3 goals down. They have no hope. And then suddenly, the words pop into his head. And he says them. It can't do any harm, can it? Quandale Dingle. And the next thing, a huge dog comes tearing across the pitch. Nobody knows where it's come from. And in the chaos, just before the referee pauses the game, Trevor sees his chance and he kicks the ball straight into the back of the net. After that, it's like he can't miss. It's like he's channeling his inner Ronaldo and Messi and Mo Salah all at once. 2 more goals, and with about a minute left to play, Mount View's winger gets fouled and the ref gives a penalty. Trevor's taking the shot, but it's too far back. The angle is off. He can't do it. Can he? Quandale Dingle. Trevor says the words in his mind and he takes the shot. The ball sails through the air. It's not going to make it, is it? The Greystones goalie jumps up to catch the ball, but the ball hits their hand and rebounds and everything goes into slow motion. Trevor can see the ref about to blow the final whistle as the ball touches the back of the net. They've won. And they are so busy celebrating that Trevor forgets all about his new coat. Let's speed up now so that we can get back to Trevor, who's still frozen in the present. 7. The park. On his way through Millennium Park, Trevor hears a high-pitched scream. Snake! Now, up until yesterday, Trevor might have run the other way if he'd heard this. But something in him has changed. And so he runs towards the commotion, armed with a shovel which he grabs from a flower bed, much to the surprise of the gardener. Trevor is like a fierce warrior, raising the shovel like a sword. But when he gets to the battlefield, all he finds are 2 little girls, screaming their heads off, terrified and pointing at, not a snake, but an equally terrified little earthworm. Trevor's being pursued by the gardener, who seizes back his shovel as Trevor apologizes profusely for the misunderstanding. Meanwhile, the 2 little girls are still frozen in shock. And Trevor gets an idea. Hey, there's nothing to be scared of. Just say the magic words. Quandale Dingle. And the girls do. And the little worm wiggles its little head back under the ground. And on Trevor goes, a Herculean hero. Without his coat. 8. Chicken nuggets. Because of the worm incident, he's already late to meet Ozzy and Niall at McDonald's. They've struck up a conversation with an artist, a musician, and a designer who, dressed as spies and eating hot dogs, are staging some sort of a protest at the entrance. Ozzy and Niall are quizzing them about who do they think is better, Peter or Lois Griffin, or Rick from Rick and Morty, or whether William Mason really is irredeemable. And what about Freddie Fazbear? That's the thing about Ozzy and Niall. They make friends or start arguments wherever they go. Either way, it's never boring. But today, Trevor doesn't get involved. He's finally got his chicken nuggets. And he's thinking back over everything that's happened today. He doesn't feel afraid anymore. Feels like he could face anything right now. He feels invincible. And he thinks, and he chews, and he thinks, and he chews, and he only stops chewing once to ask Ozzy, did you ever hear of Quandale Dingle? Ozzy looks at him blank. And then Niall reminds them both that if they don't hurry up, they won't have any time to play Fortnite before they all need to be home. 9. Fortnite. Niall's house is always quiet. He has no brothers and sisters. So that's where they usually go. He has an Xbox and a PlayStation. In the game, Trevor's doing battle with an actual snake this time, and Ozzy is listing out all the skins he'd buy if he could go back in time. Niall only cares about how much he can sell them for. Niall's always had a mind for business. It flashes into Trevor's head that something isn't quite right, but the snake lashes out at him, and so he doesn't have time to fully form the thought that it's his glasses. The snake looks a bit fuzzy, because he's not wearing his glasses. Doesn't have his glasses. He doesn't have his new coat. 10. The reckoning. The sun is setting as Trevor, the fearless, makes his way towards home. But everything is about to change. Trevor, where's your new coat? Ma's gonna kill you. Trevor, where are your glasses? You're in big trouble now. And that's when Trevor freezes. And even though he's frozen, his mind is going 1,000,000 miles an hour like mine was earlier. And he knows he doesn't have much time. His thoughts are flashing through the whole day. Waking up in his room, his wardrobe open a crack with a ghost inside, and Mickey Mouse and the Mario plushie he used to love so much peeking out at him. But he has no clue where he left the coat. And then he hears a voice. Shall When he looks up, this time she's smiling. And then she says 2 words. The smile getting bigger and bigger. Quandale Dingle. What? She looks at him. He looks at her. Right. It's time to unfreeze Trevor. 11. The search. Hearing Shell say the words, suddenly Trevor can see the coat. Right there, where he left it. And he is gone down the driveway, past the school, jump on the fence of the park, over to the community centre and into the changing room, where the coat is right there. Exactly where he left it. Glasses in the pocket. And Trevor hasn't broken his promise after all. And there's nothing to be afraid of. And as if no time has passed, he's back on the driveway and Shell is still leaning out the window. And the singing in the house has changed. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Trevor. Happy birthday to you. 12. Happy birthday. And that's the story of the day Trevor lost his fear. See, it doesn't really matter what the words were. It doesn't matter that Quandale Dingle turned out to be some meme that Shell found on the internet and turned into magic words for his birthday present. It doesn't matter whether I did a headstand or a backflip or took a few deep breaths to get ready to do this play. Or to trust myself to remember to write something that included all of the things that I promised Mr. Norton's class in St. Philip's that I'd put in the play. McDonald's, Spider-Man, chicken nuggets, a character eating a hot dog, pizza, John F. Kennedy, a cheeseburger, an artist, a spy, a dog, Mo Salah, a fierce warrior, Peter and Lois Griffin, a psychopathic killer, Ireland, someone eating sushi, New York, a musician, a designer, a sunset, a crazy guy, a gun, Mickey Mouse, Freddy Fazbear, a worm and a shovel to kill the worm, a cat, a ghost, Martin Luther King, an Xbox, a PlayStation, Mario, Mr. Norton, William Afton, Rick from Rick and Morty, Ronaldo and Messi, and at the end of the day, just about having something to believe in, whether that's magic words, headstands, each other, yourself, most of all, in yourself. Would anyone like some cake? So, anybody who had cake earlier, do you mind if the people who didn't have cake earlier have cake first, and then you guys, because I ran out of I'm running low on cakes. There you go. That's it.